we're going to back up a little bit, and you think, well, Pastor, we talked about this last week. Look, if Jesus had to feed the 4,000 and later on feed the 5,000 so that he could teach his disciples when they didn't get it the first time, maybe we need to rehearse some things as well. First, verse 21, God's righteousness cannot come by keeping of the Old Testament law. Notice how verse 21 begins. And as Paul launches into this discussion, he says God's righteousness is apart from the law. It's apart from the law. Jesus used that adverb, in John 15 when he says, apart from me, ye can do nothing. In other words, he's saying, if I'm absent and not present with you, you will not bear fruit. Now, the specific theological point Paul wants to make is also very importantly shown with his adverb. In other words, the righteousness of God that saves the sinner is a righteousness that comes totally apart from the Old Testament law. He or she cannot keep it or earn it in any way by our works. Turn over maybe one page in your Bible to Romans chapter 4, verse 6. Romans 4, verse 6, it says, even as David also describeth the blessedness of man, unto whom God imputeth righteousness without works. Very clear. And that's so important. Because the vast majority of religious people don't get it. You cannot gain righteousness of God by keeping Old Testament law. Now, Paul says, verse 21, that this fact was clearly manifested and witnessed by the Old Testament prophets. They knew this as well.